further, Seth Rollins interrupted. And this is right after CM Punk said he will enter the Royal Rumble for 2025. And he did a high reference on John Cena saying he could see him, and he always saw him. Before going any further, Seth Rollins come out. He said out of losing all the matches in his career, all the world title matches in his career, this was the worst loss of his career. So they had a little exchange. Then Drew come out. Drew McIntyre came out, and then as CM Punk cooked Drew, he thought CM Punk thought that Drew was talking about, but he wasn't. However, Drew was really addressing Seth Rollins. He called him a fake leader and everything, and then CM Punk got tired of it. He challenged both men to fight, and then Drew was going to silly go up there, but he wasn't. He just announced his also going to the Royal Rumble. And that was the end of that segment. A great way to kick off Raw. Great way to kick off the show. Next up, we did have Chad Gable. He had the open challenge. And it was no surprise. Even Michael Cole said that this is the worst kept secret ever. Penta debuts on WWE TV for the first time ever. And he said that too because Penta merchandise was already on WWEshop.com before Raw even started. Great match by Penta and Chad Gable. Penta did a good job in his debut. He sold off limping up with Chad Gable. He had some near falls. Penta did some good things. He's previously from AEW. Real name Pentagon Jr. I'm glad he did the work. I'm glad we have him. I hope we get Ray Phoenix. His brother, that's still in AEW, being held by Tony Khan. Neither here nor there. But that we wait for him to come because we don't want we don't want him to be in AEW too much longer. But we'll see what happens next with that. But that was a great first match of the night. We'll say that. Next match we will go to is Sheamus versus Kaiser. Now this feud was recently reignited. Doing Kaiser feuded with Braun Breaker over the Intercontinental Championship, but we know that Kaiser, he is a good heel. He will make the match look good himself and his opponent look good. He did just that. He tried to get this. He had to tried to cheat at the end. He tried any sneaky tactic move he could do, which he did. However, he was trying to use Shillelagh to get a cheap victory, but Sheamus came back. He got him with the knee, and he also got him with the bro kick. But he won with the knee. That was it. Sheamus wins the match, and Sheamus celebrated. He even went over to also Pat McAfee on an announced thing and everything. But a very good match. But this was good. Very good match between these two men. They definitely put in that work for real, Definitely good. Now, that was the end of that match. Let's continue on. We had an inaugural Women's Intercontinental Championship match. We had that. Now, Lyra and Dakota both put in that work. They both did whatever they took to the lengths. They both did whatever they could to win. They was not settling for nothing less, and I mean nothing less. And while that's being said, we know that Dakota got some near falls. Also, we also know too that as well that there was some point in the match that we thought that Dakota had Lyra, but she didn't. Lyra did a smart thing by falling out the ring. However, Lyra got her with the move, and that was it. That was all she wrote as far as that goes. And we got ourselves a brand new and inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria. Congratulations to Lyra. Very, very good work. I can't. No words describe how great this was. But with that being said, If you guys remember, they did definitely put in a good match.
Into the Nightwing! The cover! There's your brand new...
So winner and new champion, Lyra Valkyria. Congratulations to Lyra. Definitely deserve it. Definitely did everything she could to make it work. Let's move on to the next part of the show. All right, we have Sami Zayn. He won a one-on-one against The Miz. This was an okay match. Wasn't bad. It wasn't the best match, but it was real solid. They were telling the story of Sami Zayn. We knew he was down for a while. We knew that Sami needed to rebound. We knew something had to happen. Why is 6? They're not on Raw anymore. They moved to SmackDown. That was discussed with Miz and Karrion Kross backstage. We know these two men had talked about it previously before this matchup. This was Karrion Kross telling Miz, no more YS6. They had found something to do this with the whole Sami Zayn got involved and whatnot. But however, they did come back to this match. Sami Zayn got the win over the Miz, and it makes Sami look strong. So he's working his way back. Congratulations to Sami on that match. Next match, let's get on the card. Well, actually, let's go to Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, big part of the show. She was mentioned in her promo. Now, Rhea, she came out, mommy's back on top, and, she's the champ again. And she don't have to worry about Liv Morgan anymore. But she says she's the most dominant woman in the company. Before she could come out, Nia Jax interrupted. And Nia said that she vowed to win the Women's Royal Rumble. She said that Tiffy Top, ain't the one of being on top. It ain't Mommy being on top. It's her. Then she saw Bayley in the crowd. She interrupted her. We in Bayley's hometown of California, San Jose, California. She called her BBL Bayley again. And then when next thing we know, whatever Bayley said, whatever Nia just had to say to her, said to her face. Then we had these women attacked each other. Nia attacked her, headbutted Rhea, and then Bayley came back and hit the big knee on Nia, and then of course Rhea Ripley came in and attacked back at Nia. Now it looked like Nia was taken out. We saw Bayley and Rhea. They was chummy, but at the same time, we saw Bayley staring at the Women's World Championship. Question, is Bayley going to be transferred to a Raw, and such? Or it will be a future match between Rhea and Bayley for the Women's World title? Because there's an interesting history on this one. Both Bayley and Rhea have held the Women's World title for approximately 379 days in one title reign. So that could be a good story behind that. And I know Bayley got tired of the whole BBL nickname because she called Nia for reusing the BBL nickname, and Nia says still works, but you could tell Bayley doesn't like that nickname too much. But very good segment. Now, with that being said, let's move on to the main event of the show. Street fight. We got Damian Priest versus Finn Bálor. These two got great history, both in the Judgment Day. Both started when Finn costed Damian the world title at SummerSlam last year against Gunther. They had a match of bad blood. I know Damian won that, but Finn did not let stuff go. He goes back and forth. And that's exactly what they did in this match. It went back and forth. We did it, of course, as expected. We did see interference from both Carlito and JD McDonough. Wasn't good enough because the War Raiders came on Damian Priest's behalf. They got a partnership with Damian, and they took them out. Then Damian, he had Finn Bálor. He did the Falcon Arrow from the top of the ramp all the way to the table. That was a good spot. And also Finn Bálor did the quarter cross from the top of the ring to the table on Damian. And of course, he did another one of Damian near fall, but Damian got the last laugh when he hit the South of Heaven. That was it for Finn. who was also in the neck brace on stretcher, carried back by Damian, and Damian won that match. But definitely a good one. Very good one, I would say. These two, we know these two, they definitely got a history with one another. We know that they finally got that done. It's finally out of there. We know that that was the case with Damian and Finn, because now we don't have to worry too much about this rivalry anymore. We know it's over. We know it's a wrap between these two men. I don't know where the next direction going to go for them, but we know that it's going to be pretty much. Hopefully, this rivalry is over. I don't see why they would go back and continue this rivalry. I just don't see why. It wouldn't make any logical sense, because these men have repeatedly matches against each other time and time again. But this match was a good way to close out Raw. And also, for the record, Raw ended at approximately 2 hours and 33 minutes. So if you was on Central Standard Time, it ended at 9:30. Eastern Standard Time, 10:30. So that was good about that. Good information to know as well on that. So with that being said, that is the end of Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about everything that happened. You have Rhea Ripley segment, Chad Gable, Penta, Sheamus versus Kaiser, main event, Damian versus Finn, and of course, inaugural Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament final, Lyra versus Dakota, which Lyra did win. But congratulations to that. Let's go over the rating of the show. Let's see, what did I think of the show. Now, my rating of the show, I got to be honest, this is a very good, well thought out show. I give it a 5 out of 5. Very good. There was no too much hiccups. Everything was running smooth like an oil well machine. So I like that. You guys go to my community tab. I always have the voting on there. Always have what can people say about the show, and what do they feel about the show. So that's always going to be on the community tab. People always have their opinions. You can state your opinion as well too. So check that out. See what you thought about Monday Night Raw. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you thought it was okay? Did you thought it was real good? Did you thought it was mediocre? I would love to hear what you guys got to say. That'd be great. That'd be interesting, because it's always good to hear what you guys have to say about the show. Speaking of which, what I can do, let's see what people around the community have to say about Monday Night Raw. Let's see. All right. People said this. 70% gave it an A, 24% gave it a B, 1% gave it a C, and 5% gave it a D or F. So surprisingly, I thought it was bad. Okay. But that is the end of Monday Night Raw, inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion Crown Street fight. Let's go over what went wrong with Raw and what went right with Raw. Let's get into that. With that being said, let's go over a few things. I really gotta talk about this. First off, doing a promo with Gunther. He cut the promo earlier with Jey Uso. Jey Uso challenged Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. We know that Gunther needs an opponent, or at least we thought it was a new opponent. But it's not a new opponent. It's an opponent from the past, just not for the world title. With that being said, on that note, we do know that we're going to get a match with these men, and it's going to be Jey versus Gunther at Saturday night's main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. My issue with it is we're going to have this again. Now, granted, I know it's for the world title. Jey Uso did challenge Gunther while he was the Intercontinental Champion, and we all know how that ended. Gunther retained, Jey lost. I don't like this at all, and we already know where it goes when I don't like it.
What's going to happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
I don't like that at all. Not cool, not a good scenario. So that's not good, but that's one thing I saw that I did not like. I'm tired of Jey being the enhancement talent for Raw to lose in the Intercontinental Championship or World Title picture match. That's getting real old and real tired. So I really hope they get rid of that, because it's really uncalled for. So that's my issue. That's one issue I saw with Raw. Next issue we'll talk about. What's next for Final Testament? Now we know that according to Karrion Kross, he announced to Miz before Miz had an interaction with Sami Zayn that the stable that they was rivaling with on this show, Y6 has been moved to SmackDown. Now we saw that this was going somewhere, and I see this with Final Testament a lot. Final Testament starts a feud with someone. This is going back to SmackDown. They're feuding against the Pride, Street Profits, and Bobby Lashley. They had a feud with them. They even fought a WrestleMania six-man tag. It seemed like it was going down towards Bobby Lashley and Karrion, and then poof, Final Testament gets moved to Raw. They come to Raw. They have their rivalries. Then the most recent rivalry was against YS6, and now after YS6 finished, they feuded with American Made. Now they feud with them, and now as it's going somewhere, and then they added Miz to the pack. Now it seems like that's done because now Y6 with the transfer window, they are transferred to SmackDown. And with that being said, and I see this with Final Testament, why are they still stable? Any time that something gets created for this stable, it always something happens where one of the stables get transferred to another show. This is the second time I've seen this happen with Final Testament. Karrion Kross, great talent. He honestly should be on his own. AOP, Authors of Pain, great tag team. Let's be honest, they should be on their own too. I would rather WWE to split this team or stable up, let AOP do their thing on the tag team side, let Karrion Kross do his thing on the singles competitor side. And I really hope that's where it goes, because if it does not do that or something going on, they do something with this whole, and this unpairing with Miz, if they don't change this soon, it's just not going to go nowhere. It's not.
You know what's going to happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
So I really hope they change that whole narrative. Another thing I saw, that what went wrong with Raw. We'll talk about this too. Nia Jax on Raw. Why was she on here? I get why Bayley was there. It was her hometown. And it seemed like we're going to get a potential match of Bayley versus Rhea Ripley. Because Nia right now is more likely going to be in the quest to regain her WWE Women's Championship from Tiffany Stratton. So if that's the case, she should stay on SmackDown for now. Now I get it. If she do not regain the Women's Championship from Tiffany Stratton, Royal Rumble, or wherever it is, then come to Raw and do that. But I get it. They had to do it. The whole Netflix thing, transfer window. I like how they mix in both, but Nia had a reason to be on there. It could have been just Bayley talking to Nia saying, hey, this is my hometown. I'm here. Congratulations, Rhea. I like challenging for the Women's World Championship. I was cool with that. But this was a little too much there. A little too much there.
You know what's going to happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
So, yeah, I hope they change that with Nia. They didn't need that at all. I'm just saying. It was unnecessary. It really was. But other than that, though, that's the problem. That's the only issues I had with what went wrong with Raw. Now we're going to go to what went right with Raw, because it was a good episode. Let's be honest. It was some good things that went in Raw's favor. Let's go over that shortly. First off, great debut match of Penta. Now, his introduction could have been a little bit better. A little rollout could have been better of introducing to the WWE Universe, considering that he's brand new to the WWE Universe. You know, known for being on Independence and TNA and AEW, wherever he's been besides AEW before now. But other than that, this was a great match. And I can't wait to see what more they're going to do with Penta as a character. I can't wait to see what they're going to do, how they're going to roll this out. I can't wait to see how this is going to work, you know, with his character and everything. But definitely a great thing. I got to give credit where credit's due. This was solid. I can't wait to see more Penta, or as the fans know, because I watched him in AEW, he was Pentagon Jr. But other than that, amazing. I liked how this worked out with the match with Chad Gable. And kudos to Chad Gable for making him look like $1 million. Yeet. So that's one thing I saw went right with the show. Another part I saw went right. It's inevitable. I said it, I called it. Lyra winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Great move. Lyra has been a great talent. I said this before, even before Raw said it. Lyra, former NXT Women's Champion. Lyra drafted to Raw last spring. She was in the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. She was in last year's Women's in the Money in the Bank ladder match in this tournament. Got to the finals and won. This is a Workers' Championship, and Lyra's going to make a great way of being an inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champ and putting some respect on that title's name and bring prestige to the title. A very good call by WWE having her win this title. Great.
Yeet.
So I thought that was an amazing move. With that being said, I thought it was great. I liked how they played this out. And it made sense to do that. It made perfect sense to do that with her. I don't see any, I mean, like I said, no offense to Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai, you just came back and you do a little bit of whining when you don't get your way, when you got on Twitch. We didn't forget about that either. But other than that, it still was a great performance by both Lyra and Dakota in this match for this championship. Do I see Dakota being champion in the near future? Absolutely. Just not right now, like I said last week. It's not the time for her to win this title at this particular moment. Maybe later this year or maybe early next year. Who knows? We shall see when the time comes. But that's a good thing I did see. And for Lyra Valkyria being champion. Now, with that being said, I also want to talk about another thing I saw good on this show. Great main event from Damian, Priest, and Finn Bálor. Now, I know I said I got tired of this feud. I wanted to end. I said that in the past, but this was a great match to close out Raw. They had a great street fight. Great storytelling between Finn and Damian. And what I like about this match, too, Damian and Finn both had advantage. They both had offense, and they both had defense. It was like leveled out perfectly. So I like that for both Damian and Finn. I don't know what's going to happen with Damian's character after this or Finn. Finn Bálor more likely is going to break off from Judgment Day very, very soon, or try to use them to get what he wants until that oil runs out. And Damian Priest probably gonna get some time off, probably take a few weeks off because we don't need him every week. But great main event by these men. They definitely put on a great show for the main event for Raw.
Yeet.
Yes. Now, with that being said, guys, that is everything that went over as far as when we're right Monday Night Raw. So with that being said, let's talk about next week's matches. Because let's talk about next week on Raw. I didn't mention it before, but we'll talk about it now. Next week, we do have a WrestleMania rematch of Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. That will happen next week. Also, we do have the WWE Hall of Famer John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL for short. We have that as well. So he will also be on that show. We're going to see what JBL had to say about that. That will be interesting to see. Other than that, though, we're going to see the next move going to be for those two matches. And, of course, we do have Saturday night's main event coming up very soon, a week from Saturday. So that will be coming up. Like I said, we already got some announcements on that, too. We do have two matches that are official for that particular TV event, TV special. And the ones we do have event, I mentioned it earlier. Let's go over one again. We do have Jey Uso versus Gunther for the world title match. And we do have another match, Braun Breaker, Intercontinental Champ versus Sheamus. So I'll do predictions on that later. With that being said, guys, let's go over some current news when it comes to WWE and whatever else is going on in the wrestling world. So let's talk about that right now. All right, let's get to current news. We got here Corey Graves. Reportedly, he's unhappy about his move from going with Raw to the NXT. He said it right here. He sent a tweet, imagine chasing your dream, then being told not to sign that you're no longer physically able to pursue your dream. He's referring to his wrestling career. Corey Graves previously wrestled at NXT as a competitor back in 2012, 13, and 14. I think he retired in 2014. Let's move along. Then he said that you decided that then you dedicate your life to some dream adjacent, meaning announcing and being pretty effing awesome at it. And then it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Then you're told you're not famous enough for your own job, meaning that they put the more popular Pat McAfee on Raw. Just in case you wonder where I've been. Now that's the report on that. He also had more to say, more reportedly about this too. It says here, Corey Graves will now be appearing on tonight's NXT. Graves took to Twitter to express unhappiness with his current position, and then in a follow-up post stated he's got a lot to say on tonight's show. So he won't appear on tonight's NXT, but he does get a lot to say on tonight's show. There have been rumblings over the last several weeks that Graves wasn't happy with his positioning with the company. Are they playing a storyline, or he really isn't going to be that? We're going to see what happened on NXT tonight. Going to tune in tonight and see what's going on with Corey Graves. But that's current news that's going on with that. That is crazy, mad crazy. So with that being said, we're done with that. We're going to have to shift gears now. It's time to make the pivot. We're going to pivot from talking about WWE Raw, the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion Crown Street Fight, and now we're going to talk about the bonus round. Let's get to the bonus round, guys. In the bonus round, we know it's going to be important. Now let's talk about it. And the bonus round that I'm going to discuss right now will be, yes, Roman Reigns. And we're going to talk about Roman Reigns, why he will win the Royal Rumble. So let's talk about that right now. Let's get into that right now. With that being said, let's go ahead and make that move. All right. Now we're going to talk about Roman Reigns. We know that Roman Reigns is going to be entering the 2025 Royal Rumble match. Now, despite me saying that Roman Reigns is going to be in a Rumble match, I did initially had John Cena being the heavily favored to win. I don't think that's the case, but it takes some time to look it over. I just don't see that happening anymore. I don't see that happen so much now. And it's not a bad thing. It could be a good thing because we know John Cena, he is at the end of his career. He's not going to be wrestling anymore. However, it's one man that is still wrestling, and this man has a conquest to regain the WWE Championship, or he could have got the world title. So what we talking about? We talking about Roman Reigns here. We're talking about Tribal Chief. We're talking about the OTC. Now, with that being said, with the OTC, Roman, he did win the Royal Rumble 2015, but he did not win at WrestleMania. And he was not this character. He was the big dog back then. A lot of things have changed since their Royal Rumble. A lot of things have changed. I mean, heavily changed since that time when Roman, won that Royal Rumble. His career has definitely shifted in the right direction. We all can agree on that. Except for the haters that don't like Roman. The only ones that won't agree on that. But with that being said, Roman is definitely going to make a move to win this Royal Rumble. He's going to do whatever it can for him to win. And we're talking about that because Roman is the OTC. And like I said before, um, Roman Reigns, him being a Rumble just makes the Rumble, just him alone makes it so much star power. It makes it so much better. It just does. You never know. And with that being said, since he is star power, first Rumble of 5 years, I know that there's WWE. I'm just saying, it's WWE. I'm playing off them. We got to be honest here. Now, back then, when Roman was doing his thing, we do know that the last time Roman was in the Royal Rumble, he did win 10 years ago, but it didn't end too well. Excuse me. Roman was heavily booed by the crowd. The crowd was not behind him much at all. They brought The Rock out there and everything. And also, I'm just throwing a scenario out there. Who to say that Rock may not come out to help Roman again? Who to say that Rock may not enter Royal Rumble event or match, whatever, to help Roman become champ? Because I know all the fans want to erase this single thing that's irking people's minds, or Roman maybe for that matter. Roman and Rock were not happy about this last Royal Rumble win. Roman wants to erase his image. That's the big dog Roman Reigns. We want this Roman Reigns. So the reason I say he's going to win Royal Rumble, Rock is a factor. Another reason Roman could be a factor we have not paid attention to. Roman is on the cover of WWE 2K25. Now on the January 27th edition of Raw, Roman told Paul Heyman that's when he's going to have a celebration of the Ula Falah. And we do know from past history that it may not have been every single cover, not every single one, but we do know for the recent memory for that. We do know that men that do hold on to, that's the cover of 2K24. We do know that in history that normally when they do that, they go on to do good things. They go on to become a champion. They either are already the champion or they do become champion later on. That's just inevitable. And like I said, I know a lot of people don't pay attention to that tactic, but it's true. It's true. That's the whole thing about that. And we've seen this happen more than one occasion, actually, more than you think. You wouldn't think it happens like that, but it does. It happens way more than you think at that particular point. Because when we've seen this happen with many, many stars over the years. It's just an inevitable thing. And I know WWE, they love to promote things like that. They love to do that. And since they do like to promote stuff like that, it makes sense of why they would do that for certain people. It makes perfect sense why they would do it. And we know that when they do that, it just works out for the better. It helps promote the game. And it's just a good thing for WWE. It's good for the kids and parents to buy the kids the game. It brings a lot of sales into the mix. It does. It really does. Now, what I'm going to do now, like I said, this has been a history of this. Now, the old saying is, I can show you better, I can tell you. Because it definitely something that we've seen. Unless WWE goes off of this tradition, unless they do, but that's what they do. But the one I'm going to talk about now is the reason that I think it will go down. And it makes perfect sense to do that because It's just something that they do. Now, what I'm gonna say now is there are past of history winners that's been on the cover of a video game, and while they've been on the cover of a video game, they were champion. Most of the time, they became champion, or like I said, they were going to become champion. And we've seen this happen plenty of times, actually, more often than you think. Now, the examples I'm talking about right now, in this case, I'm going to go take you guys back in history and how you think about it, because you may say that's not true. I never heard of that. Well, you're going to hear about it now. And what I'm referring to right now is one person, a history cover. We're talking about CM Punk, and he's a past cover. Now, if you remember on WWE 13, CM Punk was on the cover, and that's when he was holding his WWE championship reign for 434 days. That was during that time. He happened to be champion. So that's one example of that. That is true. They do like pushing a video game cover, and the person that's on the cover of that will be the champion. Was WWE champion, world champion. Most of the time it's WWE title for that matter. Now that's one example. Another example, a couple years later, WWE 2K15, John Cena's on the cover of that video game. John Cena, what is around his neck and shoulder? The WWE World Heavyweight Championship at the time. This is when he held the both belts of WWE and the World Heavyweight Champion. And they had an episode on Raw where Stephanie and Triple H of Authority announced him as the video game cover athlete. So that happened with him. And most recently, Cody Rhodes, the current WWE champion. Now, he was not champion at the time of the announcement of the game, but he was champion when the game was released. So who to say that Roman Reigns, being on this cover of this game, won't become champion once again and win the Royal Rumble? So that's one reason for that. And two, Roman, him winning that Rumble will be good because we could see this banner. Let's be honest here. When it comes to Roman Reigns, he's a superstar, and it builds star power. And there's nothing better in WWE to have a superstar with star power winning your Royal Rumble and becoming champion. I could definitely see that happening with Roman Reigns. I could see him, definitely going after Cody's title, regain the title back. Maybe if he don't regain that one, he could go after the World Heavyweight Championship later on Raw in the near future. But I would say Roman Reigns is going to win this Rumble. He has star power. He has the look. He has the history of the merchandise. And now they're putting him on the cover of WWE 2K25. I don't see why he won't win this. He could very well be the one. He's the OTC. He finished the story with Solo for the Ula Fala. That's done. He's done with all that stuff there. Also, we got to keep in mind, what else is there Roman to do? He's not going to fight with other bloodline members unless he fights with, maybe Jacob Fatu. Maybe they could have a rivalry, but I don't see that happening. Roman's in this Rumble for a reason. He's in this Rumble for a reason, and we gotta understand that and understand what's going on here. Roman Reigns, it's inevitable. Roman Reigns will win the Royal Rumble. I think he'll be the winner instead of John Cena. John Cena is the obvious choice, but we have John Cena all 2025. I don't think we need him all to win the Royal Rumble. John Cena could win the Money in the Bank or the Chamber match to, get a world title match or WWE title match. We don't need him for that, and I think Roman will be a good choice. Now, other than that, the other choice that I had besides Cena and Roman was CM Punk, but Roman would be a very good choice. I think he'll be fine. I don't see why not. Why wouldn't they run with that? But that's all I have regarding why Roman Reigns will win the Royal Rumble for 2025. You guys let me know what you think of that. Check out the content here on the channel. Check out the videos here. Check out the lives here when I talk about Raw. Greatly appreciate it. Soon to videos will pop up, guys. Check that out. Until then, guys, you already know what it is. It's OUT.
Something happened this weekend, and I have been struggling with it since I retired. But this weekend gave me closure.
Wow.
It really did. Like, it was fun. Obviously, it was fun. I mean, you can't, doing this for as long as I have and being involved.